Good you could make it.
Yeah, well, we would have been here sooner if it weren't for work.
I know. I'm sure Fizz doesn't know. Do you need the toilet?
What? Oh, no, I'm just nervous. I can't stop my palms from sweating.
All rise.
Hiya. This is not open to debate. It is a fact. She told the police that she had no idea her husband had stolen Colin Fishwick's identity. A lie. She told them that she'd never met Colin's elderly and gravely ill mother. A lie. Not only did she know her, but after Joy Fishwick's untimely death, the accused callously stole the money that she'd bequeathed to her son in her will. Correction. Her missing son. Because that brings us to yet another lie. And this one, I think you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen, is in a class all of its own. Fiona Stape swore she knew nothing of Colin Fishwick's whereabouts. The truth, however, was very different. She knew Colin was dead. How? Because she'd helped her husband dispose of his body. Lie after lie after lie. And in amongst all this deceit and half-truths, let us not forget the bodies of 3 people. Colin Fishwick, Joy Fishwick, and Charlotte Hoyle. What did these 3 people have in common? The knowledge to bring Fiona Stape and her husband John's tower of lies crashing to the ground. And yet now, we're being asked to believe that she knew nothing of these murders. That her husband John Stape acted entirely alone, and that she never once suspected or questioned him as to what was going on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unlike the accused, I believe that you may find that last lie particularly hard to stomach.
She's gonna lose, isn't she?
Don't say that.
You tell me I'm wrong.
The last few days, we've sat in this courtroom and listened to evidence and witness statements from investigating police officers to forensic experts. And you've watched as my learned friend and I have pored over their words again and again. And all of this, in order to ascertain one thing: whether or not my client is guilty of the crimes she's charged with. Now, Fiona Stape, by her own admission, is not a blameless woman. She has readily confessed to fraud by false representation and, as you yourselves have seen, expressed great remorse for her actions. Now, whether or not you believe those actions were motivated by greed or by the desire to protect her child or by fear of her husband is not important. What is important, however, is that she has not once admitted any involvement or responsibility for the murders of Joy and Colin Fishwick or Charlotte Hoyle. And the reason for that is simple. She didn't do it. Because despite everything, the hours of witness statements, the cross-examination, the speculation, there is not one single concrete piece of forensic evidence, not one single eyewitness statement that can conclusively prove that my client, Fiona Stape, played any role in any of these murders. And for that reason alone, you must find her not guilty.
So what happens now?
As far as I understand, the court is adjourned. The jury attempt to reach a decision.
And what do?
We wait.
This must be feeling, poor thing. Why is it taking so long? When it's obvious she didn't kill anyone, she couldn't.
Obvious to those of us who know her, but the jury can only make their decision on the evidence they're presented with.
Tell me the truth. Do you think they're gonna find her guilty?
I own a cafeteria. I'm hardly a legal expert.
I know. I'm asking you as a mate.
I remain hopeful that justice will be done and Fizz will be acquitted.
Although, you have to admit that the prosecution's closing statement was very compelling.
Who asked you?
I'm just saying.
Well, maybe you shouldn't. I don't even know what you're even doing here.
I'm as concerned about Fizz as anyone else.
Oh, please. Spare me the I only came to offer my support speech. I've seen you in there, with your boiled sweets, straining your neck to make sure you don't miss a word.
I resent that. Take it back.
I shan't.
Take it back.
I shan't.
Take it back.
Just back it in, will you? Both of you. My mate's sister, one of the best people I've ever met in my life, is waiting to find out if she's going to prison. All you two can do is argue. Just try thinking about someone other than yourselves for a change.
Sorry it took so long. The queue for the toilets was murder.
The foreman of the jury, please stand. Have the jury reached a verdict upon which they are all agreed?
We have.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty of the murder of Joy Elizabeth Fishwick?
Not guilty.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty of the murder of Charlotte Hoyle?
Not guilty.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty of the murder of Colin Michael Fishwick?
Guilty.
You have to listen to me. I haven't done anything.
Mrs. Stape, you will be sentenced on Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Is that clear?
No, you're making a mistake. Please, you can't do this to her. You can't do it.
Take her down.